Hi, I'm Mark Navarro. I'm a coworking consultant, and although I live in a big city, I have been working with several coworking spaces in the countryside. And I also participated in some conferences and talks regarding coworking in the countryside, as well as other projects related with coworking in the countryside. The situation is that with COVID-19, some people reconsider it, their life in some way. They are more open to find that promise of a better work-life balance. And co-working in rural areas have been a trend since 2017. I included that in a conference back at those days. And a long time passed, and there's nothing like we imagined. But maybe this is because we are city people who have a different kind of idea about what co-working in the rural area should be. But truth be told, co-working in countryside is a reality. There are a lot of spaces in the countryside which do co-working, but they do it on a different way than in the city. It's also true that the goals of those co-working spaces sometimes are different from the ones in the city. The size is also different, and the look and feel is also different. The problem is that maybe we are looking to those spaces with a mindset of someone from the city. One of the first problems or misconceptions we have is the one I heard dozens of times, like, there are no networks, we are going to create a network there. And the truth is completely the opposite. I have been talking with a lot of people in those areas related with co-working, and what they told you at the first opportunity, what they told me, it was, we have a lot of networks. If you tell the people you are going to create a network, they will tell you, we don't need an extra network. We have a lot of them. If we arrive to an area, being a foreigner of that area, we do not know anyone. We may feel that there are no networks, but that's far from real. That's far from what's really going on. So that does mean that co-working is not important there. There's no chance for doing that. It's completely the opposite. Co-working spaces create professional networks. For sure, those relationships end up being personal with a lot of members in your space. But if you try to build a co-working space in the rural area, you have to talk about the professional networks, because maybe that's more something which can be appealing for them. Because the truth is that most of the networks I mentioned before are built during the lifetime of a human being and are much more related to personal profiles, the people you grow up with. Someone sees you and she does not recognize me, and she asks someone, he's the grandson of whoever, So all those networks are based on relatives, family, friends, growing together and living in an area for a long time. And it's an area in which the amount of people living there is so few that it allows them to more or less know each other. Then co-working, it allows you to know someone because he or she is a great designer, a great coder, or a great marketing person and does a great job. And he's part of your community, she's part of your community. On the other hand, we have to take into consideration that this kind of network is really easy to be part of it. You just sign up for the co-working space, you show up in the space, and this is something we are going to talk about it later. But you are part of it. And then all the members of your community are going to introduce you to other communities. So for example, I'm a co-working consultant, I go to live to the countryside, and I love biking. and someone in my space have a group that goes riding. So if he or she is aware that I'm liking the same things that they are liking, so they will probably, invite me to go with them. So it will be really cool because it will catalyze my integration into that community. I will be part of that broader, bigger community than is all the city or all the town in which that co-working is located. On the other hand, we have to also think that the density of the area, the density of the people living in that area, is much lower. So sometimes a member, it will be living really far away from the space, and he or she won't be willing to come to the space every day. On the other hand, houses tend to be bigger because they are not as expensive as in the city. So I can have a perfectly fine office in my home. So I just want to go to the space twice, maybe 3 times a week, because I'm good. Depending on the kind of work, I'm fine doing it at home. On the other hand, some professionals are moving around the area for their work. They are working with several clients, or they work in a project in which they are related directly with agriculture or other industries which are popular in that area. And it's true that with COVID this may change a bit because some of that in-person meetings may not be necessary at all in the future, or people will reconsider that. But for sure, if you have a business related with agriculture, you will still be traveling around and going to that areas. So at the end, what we end up facing is the fact that maybe half or more of your community is not willing to go to work on a daily basis, or maybe some of them do not want to work there at all because they have a perfect fine office at home, but they want to be part of that community. They still want to be part of the co-working space. And this makes me think of the really beginnings of the co-working spaces, in which we dreamed with a great community of people that came to events and all this kind of stuff. For sure, events won't be possible for a long time. But beside that, it's important to understand that you are building a community, but you are not building a community in which 100% of the members are going to attend every day. It's not that. It's far from that. Because in some spaces, maybe you have 10% of the members attending every day. So you have to consider that. On the other hand, there's something really important to consider. And it's something that we witnessed that in cities. But I think that in a rural environment, in the countryside, this is much more important, if that's possible. Some people build co-working spaces and they act like if that space was a spaceship. They land into a territory and they do their own thing. They do not consider what's going on around them. They do not think on the people which is not part of their community. And in the countryside, this effect it's much harder because people sometimes can feel patronized by the people coming from the city, doing great things, having great dreams, but their lives are different, and you decided to go to live there because you like the life there, or the kind of life that you can have there. So it's a matter of keeping that balance. It's a matter of, you want to innovate, but you have to take them with you. You have to be part of that territory. So it's really important to create that fostering environment inside the co-working space with the members, but also give this kind of fostering, be able to take all these innovations that you are doing there also to the broader community of the city or the town or the countryside you have around and all the population you have around. Why? Because co-working is not about what we do inside the space. That's true. It's about that, but it's also about what we have around. It's about making, better human beings, better professionals, and also trying to help others, which is the base of what a co-working space is. So try not to act like you were aliens from another world. You don't have a spaceship. You have something which can be really great, but it will be even greater if you are able to move forward and just trespass the walls of your co-working space. Because this is what co-working is about. It's about creating communities. It's about making people thrive. It's about inspiring people. It's about helping people. And that it's much better the bigger you can do it. Thank you very much.